Hello everybody, welcome back to Huddersfield Town Fan TV for another video. In today's video I'm going to be just getting a few things off my chest really, to be honest with you, as we look ahead to the summer and the big changes that are needed at this football club in the summer. And there is no excuses whatsoever for not getting it right this time. But look, as the title says, it has to be a major rebuild. Absolutely, completely freshened up completely. And I think, if the decisions again are poor this summer, then we are doomed. We are doomed, I'm telling you now, because look at the form guide, guys, this last half of the season. It is honestly, man, we're going to get into it a bit later in the video, but yeah. So yeah, that is what today's video is going to be about. Hope you guys enjoy it. But before we get into the video, obviously make sure you do drop a like on the video. It does help the video, guys. And subscribe to the channel. Yes, we are heading towards 900 subscribers. That is our next target. The big dream is 1,000 subscribers. That would be incredible. From where I've come from to now, it would just be an incredible achievement. And I'd just be so grateful and appreciate everything that you've done for me on this channel. Everybody that has supported me. And I just appreciate it so much if you could help get the channel out and tell others about the channel so they can subscribe. But yes, and also I love hearing from you guys as well. So make sure you drop your comments down below. Let me know. Let me know your thoughts and everything. How are you? How are you feeling ahead of the summer? You know what I mean? What do you think the first things that needs to be done in this club? What do you think needs to be done? Let me know. There's so much I know. Anyways, let's get into it then. So, look, I'll say this much. I'll start with this. I've never been as disconnected with a club than I am right now, and a lot of Town fans are the exact same. They feel the exact same way. Complete apathy across the fan base, and yeah, and I've got to say this as well. This is the most dislikable squad I've ever known us have. These players that we have are a complete and utter disgrace. They're an embarrassment. They don't represent what we should be about. You know what I mean? They don't show pride in the shirt. They don't run the hard yards. And as I said the other day, I can accept if they're just basically not good footballers. They haven't brought themselves to the football club. The people that are in charge of the recruitment has brought themselves to the football club. But if they're not very good players, it doesn't mean you can't try. So that's what I'm saying. If they tried, if they were putting everything into it, and you know what I mean, and they just weren't, they're just not very good, then fine. But it's not fine in terms of what we see on the pitch, because we're not going to get the results that we need. But it means that they do care, and it means that they do have pride in it, And yeah, so, and to be honest with you, I never thought it'd be possible to get a worse squad than we had. When we got relegated from the Championship that season, last season, wasn't it? I never thought we'd have a worse squad, but because of the absolute dross that we brought into the building, injury-prone rubbish, you know what I mean, that are no good to anybody, and not the right characters coming in through the door either, you know what I mean? There was no strategy or plan with the recruitment, and we've already gone through these guys, and thankfully, the failed sporting director, Cartwright, has left all the damage. But he is finally out of the football club. 12 months too late, a lot of people have said, including myself. I agree. How he survived last season, going through all those managers, hiring and sacking managers left, right, and centre. The recruitment absolutely awful, and then you know what I mean. Then it made us get relegated. That was a big factor, and all this chaos started when Warnock spoke up about the things that he that he wasn't happy about. Warnock's always been straight talking. We know what he's like, but they couldn't handle it. Their egos in that boardroom couldn't handle it, and they sacked him. And from then, it's just been downhill. But yes, this is the worst squad I've ever known. And there is such a lack of passion, desire, ambition to succeed. Football should be about winning, not just taking part, winning. And the reality is, and succeeding as well. And for me, look, it's throughout the squad, it's just gutted with absolute rubbish. Unprofessional footballers who have no pride, just happy to pick up a wage and couldn't care less about the football club. And that's shown this season. You know what I mean? To be fair, some of these players that have been here for years, we've seen this time and time again, to be fair, so this is nothing new. But some of these players that we you know what I mean, that we've I think these players that have showed unprofessionalism before have not shown it to this degree before. And I put it to a prime example, Matty Pearson. He has shown what he truly is this season. Let me tell you, we've seen a few glimpses of what his bad attitude and unprofessionalism in the past, but this season it's been very much consistent with how he's behaved. And I'll say this much: he's one of those out of contract this summer that should not be staying on this summer. Should not be staying on beyond this summer, sorry. And if he does get his contract renewed, then it shows that Nagel tolerates disrespect towards the football club. The amount of times he's thrown his arms up in the air and stormed down the tunnel after being embarrassed on the pitch. The team lost, team losing, drawing, dropping needless points. Just stormed down the pitch with his arms, you know what I mean, throwing his arms up in the air like a little crybaby. And also, let's not forget this shushing gesture that he's been doing to the fans, not just this season, but before, last season as well. Remember it, just because fans don't want to watch backwards football and so-called footballers kicking the ball out of play or just launching upfield, doesn't mean we deserve to be shushed in that manner. So yes, 8 or 9 players out of contract in the summer, and I reiterate, I would not renew any of them. And to think at the end of these last 2 games that we've got, these last 2 miserable games that we don't really want to play, I wish we could forfeit the season now, because it's just been a complete and utter disaster, hasn't it, this season? I checked out weeks ago. In fact, I checked out weeks and weeks ago, to be fair, but now we're nearly at the finishing line. You just want it to be over now, because what's the point of playing these last 2 games? Nothing to play for. And to think that we could finish as low as 11th in the 3rd tier, yes, in the 3rd tier, is nothing short of a disgrace and an embarrassment. Not bad to say that our own Nagel was coming out telling us all we had a championship squad and we're going for the automatic places. Yeah, right. So when he's speaking all this nonsense, these words come back to backfire him every time, and he never learns his lesson. And that's the thing with this owner. He doesn't learn his lesson. He's too busy doing this and very little action to back it up. And when you say stuff like this, then you do get reminded by the fans that what you said earlier on in the season. Because I'm sorry, if you thought that this squad was a championship squad, you're absolutely delusional. And all the dross that we've added to it just made it even worse, like I said earlier. But look, this summer is make or break. There's no excuses not to get it right this time. And I sat here last summer and I said the exact same thing. But look how bad this season has been because of the utter shambles of decision making from the failed sporting director and chief executive, who somehow still finds himself in a job, by the way. And all these fans saying about Cartwright out. Don't forget Edwards here, by the way. Don't forget him. He was part of the team in that boardroom, communicating with Cartwright and everything. So let's not let him go by the wayside here. He should be going out the door as well, because he's another failure and a fraud that shouldn't be anywhere near this football club. And look, like I said, the rubbish decision making by those, and the recruitment, I've already alluded to, the rubbish, no strategy recruitment, process that we went through. Absolutely no idea. Just pick a player out of a hat. Let's look at stats from seasons and seasons ago, guys. Freddie Ladapo, you know what I mean? He's been there and seen it and done it, yes. About a few years ago, or years and years ago, whenever it was. He's at the latter stage of his career. And what a pointless, rubbish signing he's been. I knew it when he came through the door that it was going to be another disaster of a signing. And look, I'll say it right now, people can say Duff shouldn't have been sacked when he did. I have to question whether he was really ever the right appointment in the first place, guys, to be honest with you. Did he ever align with what we as fans see as the values of the football club? I don't think he did. Did he bring an exciting brand of football? Yes, it's about getting results, but did he bring an exciting brand of football to the table, attacking football? No, he didn't. He flat out deceived. And like I said, even when we were winning games this season, we were very poor. We weren't. You came away from game thinking to yourself, how have we won that? How have we actually won that game? Or you were coming away thinking, we won, but I'm not really happy about. I'm not really when you get that buzz when you've won a game. I never really felt like this season. So for me, I don't think Duff was the right appointment in the first place. But that's just my opinion. But yes, there is so much to sort out over this summer. A new director of football needed, I'm sure. Behind the scenes, they've been looking at options there already. It just probably will be announced after the season's officially done. And then we need a new manager. Yes, who will they go with this time? Who knows? Players to get rid of. Look, the players that are in the reality is, guys. Yes, we're saying about these out of contract players, but there's so many that are in contract that are utter dross, and we're stuck with them. They're not going anywhere. Nobody will touch these players that we've got. But yes, we need some new players through the building though, as well, as we know, with the right profile and quality and not injury prone. And the proof will be in the pudding with the appointment of the director of football. Who is it going to be? And I'm telling you now, if they've learned any lessons from the past, if Nagel's learned any lesson, it is to go with somebody that has been in the EFL with it, has had full of experience, got a good track record of doing good stuff in the club. Because otherwise, it's going to be another shocking season and a miserable summer with little to get behind. So, like I said, there's so many things to get rid of, isn't there? The rotten culture that exists at this football club has been here for years. You know what I mean? It does help by getting rid of those players that just create this rotten culture that is embedded in the football club. Start afresh. We need a complete fresh start. But, like I said, I have very little faith or confidence in the club hierarchy that they will get it right. Because how can we all sit here and say that we've got full trust after the chaos that we've had for the last coming up to 2 seasons now, up to 2 years now? How can we have any confidence in this? in this owner and board. Yes, Cartwright is now left, so that's one big problem gone. But one still remains from that board, and we've got an owner that, look, has overseen it all. And when a lot of people tell me, he saved the club, blah, 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 let me tell you something right now. Dean Hoyle stepped in when he did, when it went up in the air with Hodgkinson, who he sold it to. He stepped in. He would not have abandoned the football club until there was a buyer. That is a guarantee. Dean Hoyle would not have abandoned. So he stepped in. For the time being, he wasn't looking to get it, to go back under control full time. But he would stay until a new owner came in. So this narrative that he saved the club, Nagel, is complete rubbish. To be honest with you. And yes, I do give him credit for putting money into the club. He's put a lot of money in. But the problem is he's given the money to the wrong people running the club on a day-to-day basis. So you can spend as much money on the fancy bars, light shows, you know what I mean? All this entertainment that he's brought, all this kind of upgrading entertainment before matches and stuff like that, right? You can have all that, right? That fine. But the reality is, fans only care about the product on the pitch first and foremost. Yes, it's nice to have it's nice to have somewhere before the game where there's lots going on. You know what I mean? You can get food, drinks, whatever, right? But and a nice bar to sit in if you want to go in there. But if the football's rubbish, then that is our kind of emotion. That is the most important thing, is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? So look, he's put a lot of money on it, and I do. I'm not going to sit and say I don't appreciate that, because I do. But he hasn't learned his lesson, I'm afraid, guys. We've got a very naive owner and a stubborn owner who's too busy on social media saying he's going to do this and that, and very little action to back up what he's actually saying. That's the issue I've got with him at the moment. You know what I mean? These video diaries and all this, they're no use to us. We've sat and watched these video diaries time and time again. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We promise this. You can trust us. All this. No, we can't trust you, Kevin. And until I see stuff, until I see action and more action than words, I won't be able to get behind this owner fully. Because whilst I appreciate what he's done, the money's there to get players that we want. We just have to have the right plan and strategy and actually have a responsible director of football who actually knows what they're doing. Actually knows how to go out and find those gems that you need. You know what I mean? You can't always go for the names that you know. We know this. Look at our squad, what we got brought to the Premier League with. None of us heard of any of those players before they came, and look what they achieved. And I know that's only one kind of, fairy tale story. Don't happen often, do they? But I'm just saying, you can get good players out there that we haven't really heard of. But also, you do need a bit of experience in this division. But experience with players that have actually got promotions under their belt. You know what I mean? Or have actually been in that winning environment. They're ambitious. You know what I mean? They want to succeed. The right characters. We need the right characters. We need leaders. We haven't got any leaders on that pitch. The midfield is an absolute mess. It has been for ages. For years. We haven't got a midfield that can control the game. This is the problem. So, yes, we have got lots to do. I just thought I'd come in here and kind of get a few things off my chest, because my attentions have been on the summer for weeks, to be fair, but now it's officially mathematically not possible that we'll get in the playoffs. I gave up hope of that anyway weeks and weeks ago, but mathematically we're definitely not in the playoffs now. So everybody's focused on the summer fully now. But yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, but I think I've kind of got through a lot in this one. But Make sure you drop a like, subscribe if you've got this far, and comment your thoughts down below. What do you think of it all? What are you feeling ahead of this summer? Let me know what you want to, let me know what you're thinking. And yeah, if anything that you want to kind of respond to what I've said as well, you're more than welcome to. We all have our own opinions, and I respect everybody's opinions. So yes, but guys, thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back tomorrow evening for a live show. We're going to be looking at everything that has gone wrong at the football club, and yeah, we're going to deep into it. We're going to go a bit deeper into it, in depth, and look at different areas that, not that we want to, but I just think it'd be a good live show to get debates going and just kind of look. It's been a whirlwind of a miserable season, hasn't it? And I think at this stage of the season, when there's nothing to play for, you kind of start to reflect. And yeah, so I think it's just a perfect time to be doing this live show. So yes, join us tomorrow at 6 o'clock for that one. But thanks for watching this video, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.